Did you know that the average American spends over $100 a day? That's right, a day. It sounds outrageous, doesn't it? But when you start to break it down, it becomes clear that our daily spending can quickly add up. From the morning cup of coffee to the evening takeaway dinner, every swipe of the card makes a dent in our wallets. Now consider this. What if you had to get by on just $50 for an entire week? $50 to cover everything: food, transportation, entertainment. That's about $7 a day. It's a far cry from the comfortable $100 we're used to spending daily. This is not just a hypothetical scenario. It's a budgeting challenge designed to make us more aware of our spending habits and to highlight the areas where we could potentially save. Now imagine living on just $50 for an entire week. Could you do it? Here's how we divided our $50 to last us a week. Imagine having only 7 crisp $5 bills to get you through the week. Sounds like a tall order, right? But let's break it down day by day and see how we can make this work. Starting with Monday, we allocated $7. This is the day we hit the grocery store for the basics: eggs, bread, rice, and beans. The idea here is to buy items that can be stretched over several meals, providing the most bang for our buck. Tuesday, we've set aside $6. This goes towards transportation. We're opting for public transit, folks. It's not just eco-friendly but also budget-friendly. Plus, who needs the hassle of finding parking? On Wednesday, we're down to $5. This is our utilities day. We're paying for essentials like electricity, gas, and water. Remember, every penny counts. So we're turning off lights when we leave rooms and taking shorter showers. Thursday calls for another $7, this time for fresh produce and dairy. We're talking fruits, vegetables, milk, and cheese. Nutritious, delicious, and affordable. Friday's budget is a mere $4. This is our entertainment fund. We're looking for free activities around town and maybe splurging on a treat from the dollar menu. On Saturday, we've allocated $8. This is for replenishing our pantry and any other miscellaneous needs that might pop up. It's always good to have a little wiggle room in the budget. Finally, Sunday gets a grand total of $13. This is our wildcard day. This could go towards eating out, buying a new book, or adding to our savings if we've been frugal enough during the week. So, there you have it. Each day with its own financial challenge, but also its own rewards in creativity, resourcefulness, and resilience. Even with careful planning, $50 doesn't stretch very far, but we're up for the challenge. With such a tight budget, every penny counts. Here are some practical tips we use to save money. First off, let's talk about groceries. You might think that with $50, you'll be eating canned beans all week, but that's not the case. Opt for fresh produce that's in season, and you'll find it's cheaper and tastier too. Don't shy away from the frozen section either. Frozen fruits and veggies are often just as nutritious as their fresh counterparts, and can be a real wallet saver. Next, consider buying in bulk. Items like rice, pasta, and oats can be bought in larger quantities for a lower unit price, and they'll last you beyond the week. And remember, cooking at home is always cheaper than eating out. Even a simple meal can feel like a feast when you've made it yourself. Moving on to transportation. If you live in a city with public transportation, take advantage of it. It's often much cheaper than driving, especially when you factor in parking and gas. And hey, you might even get some reading done on the commute. If public transit isn't an option, consider carpooling or even biking if the weather and distance allow. Now let's tackle entertainment. It's easy to think that having fun equals spending money, but that's not always the case. Local parks, free community events, and even a good book from the library can provide hours of enjoyment without costing a dime. And remember, some of the best things in life are free. So, how do these savings translate in the context of our $50 budget? Well, by shopping wisely for groceries, we managed to save about $15. Using public transportation saved us around $10, and opting for free entertainment saved us another $10. That's a total savings of $35, bringing our expenditure down to just $15. These tips may not make you rich, but they sure can make a difference when you're on a tight budget. Now, let's compare this budget week to a typical spending week. You see, when we aren't mindful of our spending, those dollars can fly out of our wallets faster than a sneeze in a wind tunnel. In a usual week, you might treat yourself to a fancy, frothy coffee in the morning, maybe grab lunch with coworkers, perhaps catch a movie after work, or have dinner at your favorite eatery. In all of these, the cash register keeps ringing, and before you know it, you've spent well over $50 in just one day. Now compare that to our budget week. That $50 had to stretch over 7 days, remember? That's a little over $7 a day. Suddenly that fancy coffee seems like a luxury, doesn't it? The reality is, on this budget, it's more like a homemade cup of joe and a packed lunch. And let's talk about transportation. Typically, you might hop in your car to get to work or run errands. But when you're on a tight budget, you quickly realize how much gas money eats into your funds. So you find yourself turning to public transport or even cycling or walking to save those precious pennies. Entertainment usually takes a hefty slice of the pie in a regular week. But on a shoestring budget, you start to discover the wealth of free activities out there. Instead of heading to the cinema, you might host a movie night at home or swap a meal out for a potluck dinner with friends. The contrast between the 2 weeks is stark, isn't it? But it's not just about the money. It's about the awareness of our spending habits and how even small changes can make a big difference. It's about realizing that while we might have to forego some comforts and conveniences, we can still lead fulfilling lives. And let's not forget, this budgeting exercise isn't about deprivation. It's about making conscious choices and understanding the value of each dollar we spend. It's about finding joy and satisfaction in simplicity and learning to get more from less. As you can see, living on a tight budget requires some major lifestyle adjustments. But remember, it's not just a challenge, it's a journey towards financial enlightenment. So, what did we learn from this budget challenge? Well, let's dive right into it. This journey was, quite frankly, an eye-opener. It was a challenge, yes, but it also taught us a lot about our spending habits, our needs versus our wants, and how to make every penny count. Living on $50 for a week isn't a walk in the park. It nudges you out of your comfort zone, prompting you to question every purchase. It's like a constant tug of war between desire and necessity. Do you want that cup of gourmet coffee? Absolutely. Do you need it? Probably not. But here's the thing. This challenge wasn't just about scraping by, it was about understanding the value of money. It was about realizing the importance of budgeting, of planning ahead, and of making mindful decisions. It was about distinguishing between the things we need to survive and the things we buy because, well, we just want to. And let's talk about the elephant in the room, the struggles. They were real. There were moments of frustration, moments when we wished we could just abandon the challenge and go back to our old ways. But each struggle, each moment of frustration, was a lesson in disguise. In the grand scheme of things, this challenge served as a wake-up call. It showed us how easily we can fall into the trap of mindless spending, and how rewarding it can be to step back, assess our habits, and make conscious choices. And let's not forget the silver lining. This challenge, while tough, also made us more resourceful. It pushed us to find creative ways to save, to stretch our dollar, and to get the most out of what we have. So, was it easy? No. But was it worth it? Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much money you have, it's about how you manage it. Living on $50 a week isn't easy, but it's a powerful lesson in financial responsibility.